Epcot's most popular restaurant just got a brand new menu, and I'm here today to check it out. From new appetizers, entrees, and desserts, we're trying it all, and I'm gonna let you know if that expensive price tag is actually worth it. Space 220 is always a very controversial restaurant, and I personally have had some very good meals here, as well as some pretty disappointing ones. But this restaurant likes to change up their menu quite often, and today a brand new menu debuted, so I figured it was time to return. And I have actually brought along someone who has never been to Space 220 before. Promise, are you excited for your first dine?
I am so ready to just get out of this world crazy. Like, I cannot believe I haven't seen this place. I'm pumped.
I'm really curious to see if you're gonna like it, but if you guys want to see if she likes it, you're gonna have to head over to her page. The link is in the description to see how her first time dining at Space 220 is. We have come on over to go ahead and check in and head up to Space, and wow, there is a long line. I feel like the hype never died around this restaurant, and everyone is still super excited to dine here. It is still extremely hard to find a reservation for this restaurant, and it shows by this line just to check in. But since this restaurant is so popular, there are a couple of tips that I wanted to give to you guys to secure a reservation here at Space 220, and the main one being always check once the day you want to dine here gets closer. We found this reservation for today, yesterday evening, and that's always when I have the best luck. Looking for dining reservations the day before I want to dine here, or honestly, even the day I want to dine here. The closer you get to the time you want to dine at a Disney restaurant is when you should be looking up. That's when things open up a little bit more. All right, Promise, we've got our boarding pass here. We're boarding group orange, and we're ready to head up the Stellavator.
5 Stellavator, the latest in space elevator.
We're departing Epcot.
Today, you'll have a spectacular view of
there she is down there. And up there is where we're headed.
Once we dock, gather your belongings and exit through the open airlock. A Space 220 agent will be waiting for you.
SB1 cleared for arrival.
Gravity generator active.
Airlock activated. Docking complete.
We have made it up to our table, and we've got a beautiful space looking over the Earth, and obviously the atmosphere is one of the main reasons that people keep coming back to this restaurant, and people really enjoy this restaurant. And I will admit, the atmosphere is very, very cool, especially if you have a kid or you yourself really enjoy space and outer space themed things. This is definitely a very cool restaurant to dine at, and I always say, it's not a restaurant that I would feel the need to come to every time I vacationed at Disney World, but if you have never been, you should definitely check out Space 220 just because it's so cool in here. And while it is really cool in here and everyone does want to dine here, the main thing that keeps people away is the price. It can get very expensive to dine here. There are a couple of different prefix dining options here at Space 220. The first is coming for lunch. This is going to be a 2-course lunch that will cost you $55 per person and will include an appetizer and an entree. And if you have a child, lunch is $29 for them. The second option is a 3-course dinner, which will cost adults $79, and you get to choose an appetizer, entree, and a dessert. For kids 9 and under, that dinner is going to cost $35, so you could see it can get a little bit pricey to dine here. But there are a couple of options if you did want to check out this restaurant, but you didn't necessarily want to spend a lot of money. One of those options is dining in the lounge, which you can also make a reservation for right on the My Disney Experience app online. When you dine at the lounge, you can actually order this menu a la carte. They have a separate lounge menu with a couple of different options than you could get like normally on the normal menu, and you could also order, I believe, like everything from the main menu a la carte. So you can choose, instead of like spending the full $80 or $55, you can choose how much you're going to spend here, and that is always the way to go in my personal opinion. You get pretty much the same views up there. The tables are just kind of behind the bar, and that brings me to the other way you can dine here and not spend a ton of money. And that is actually sitting at the bar, which I believe is first come, first serve. The last time I actually dined here at Space 220, I was meeting some friends and they actually hopped in line a couple, like 15 minutes before the restaurant actually opened, and we were brought right up to the bar. We had a great table and we ordered a couple drinks and a couple of appetizers at the bar. So again, those are a couple of ways to save a little money but still get the full Space 220 experience. But today, we're doing the full thing. We're going all out. We are here for lunch, so we're gonna do the 2-course menu, but we're also gonna order a dessert because like I said, there's more to try, and we're gonna be trying, I believe, every single new thing on this menu today. Before we do get to the new food menu, we have to look at some of the beverages, and they have this really cool interactive drink menu here. And right up top there, the Up All Night. That is actually probably my favorite drink here. Their espresso martini is my favorite espresso martini in Epcot. It comes topped with astronaut ice cream, and I think it's a really good espresso martini. But there are a ton of other drinks. I know Promise is probably gonna get a margarita. That's usually what she goes for. So I have to kind of decide. I don't know what to get. I decided to actually try something new today and order the Command Center. This has gin, Saint Germain elderflower liqueur, lemon juice, and freeze-dried raspberries for $17. Well, this drink is looking very pretty. Cheers, Promise.
Cheers to women in space.
Women in Space and Katy Perry. I'm trying to decipher how I feel about this beverage here. It is very pretty. There are sparkles, the coloring is pretty. This is a very Instagrammable drink. However, I need another sip to fully get the taste. It tastes like a wet wipe, like a hand wipe. I don't know if I'm going crazy or what. Promise, you need to try this and let me know if I'm crazy or not. Please.
I mean, I'm scared to drink it now that you've said that, because wet wipe is like, I guess it could be alcohol, because like alcohol is in wet wipes, so maybe it's just a strong drink. We'll find out. It's doing like the burning back of the throat alcohol thing, that I think that's where you're getting the wet wipe, but it's almost like a ginger beer, like 2 or something like that, where it's like burning my throat a little bit. But I just think it's strong. I just think you maybe needed a little more sweet, even though you don't like sweet drinks.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I do definitely taste some ginger in here. Ooh, definitely very strong. I agree with you on that one. That is for sure. And I enjoy a strong drink. I like to taste the alcohol in the drink. But this is maybe a little bit too much. I appreciate the foam on top. It lets me know that it's freshly shaken, and I like the freeze-dried fruit garnish on this one. Maybe like a little sugar rim would have helped it a little bit, or maybe a little like fresh lime juice. I don't know, but this one is a little strong even for me. I guess it's better than it not being strong. Okay, well now that we're settled in with our drinks here, I want to start taking a look over the menu. These are our appetizers that we could choose from up here, and then we have our entrees right down here. Our choices for appetizers are calamari, the tempura buffalo cauliflower, which is always delicious. This antipasto, which is actually the new appetizer on the menu. They have a tuna tartare, a Caesar salad, a beet salad. This is my favorite appetizer on the menu. It comes with a caramelized goat cheese, and they almost like brulee it, like the top of a creme brulee. It is excellent. So, so good. They also have shrimp tacos and then a beef carpaccio. And then if we move on down to entrees, our options include a seared tuna, a flatbread, a salmon, a roasted chicken, steak frites, pad thai, and a burger. So when it comes to any prefix meal anywhere, typically I like to go for what is going to give me the most value and what are the most expensive items that would be on the menu. Like, to me personally, it doesn't make sense to get a Caesar salad here for a $55 meal. It doesn't really make sense to get the beet salad either here for a meal. I like to add that on to my meal sometimes, or if I go to the lounge or the bar, that's where I'll get the beet salad. If I'm doing doing the prefix menu, for me personally, I like to get the best value. So I would order something like the calamari, just because that's probably one of the more expensive things on the menu. And then for entrees, I mean, it's hard when you're presented with a steak or a flatbread of deciding which one to get. Like, you're paying $55. It makes no sense for me to get a burger or a flatbread. A flatbread, I feel like, should be on the appetizer portion of the menu. I don't know since when a flatbread is an entree. It doesn't really make much sense to me. And I know that's one of the new things, so I definitely want to try that out. So we've got to make some decisions here. And I did actually ask our waitress how much it would be to add the flatbread onto our meal on top of the $55, and she said it's an additional $22. So what that means is if I got that flatbread as my entree, my appetizer would cost $33. I mean, that kind of left me speechless. Like, that makes absolutely 0 sense to me. So if I'm going for the more expensive thing on the menu, I've got to go steak frites, and they did change that up a little bit. They added some sauces. You could choose between a peppercorn sauce and a chimichurri sauce now. So it's hard not to get the steak frites. And our appetizers have arrived. I decided to go with the new dish here, and Promise went with the tacos. You've already enjoyed some of your tacos. What did you think? Because they don't look too hot.
The thing is, they didn't look great, and the flavor wasn't too much more to write home about. They weren't bad, but like, they weren't spicy, they weren't salty. It needs seasoning, it needs an aioli, even though Kristen would disagree. But yeah, the main flavor was the lime that I squeezed on and the corn tortilla. That was the main flavor.
Yeah, as soon as those were put down on the table, I was looking at that shrimp on there, and I was like, that looks straight out of the frozen bag from Walmart. The mini shrimp, not even like the medium or the large. That was like the extra small size shrimp. They really did not look like good quality. So I'm glad I did not order that. Instead, I ordered the Luna Antipasto. This has burrata, Iberico ham, balsamic braised fennel, marinated olives, an heirloom tomato, crostini, and Marcona almonds. This is like a mini charcuterie board in a bowl here, and it certainly looks very good. However, I'm questioning why they couldn't just give you a whole burrata. Again, this is a $55 meal, meaning if I got the flatbread, this would be a $33 appetizer. And is it worth anything near that? Absolutely not. We've got 2 pieces of the ham here, 1 singular slice of tomato, a quarter of an onion, 5 olives, 6 almonds, and a half of a burrata. And a breadstick. Let's not forget that.
And a partridge and a pear tree.
And a partridge and a pear tree, yeah. And it's just not, there's no value in this dish here. However, I wanted to try it because it is the new thing on the menu. Why couldn't they just give us a full burrata? I am definitely very hungry. I'm gonna cut myself off a piece of this burrata. I love burrata, I will say. I do love burrata. And the tomato itself is a nice, thick tomato. Hopefully it's been seasoned and marinated well. Actually, I also want to get a piece of the onion here. The onion, or is it fennel? I think this is actually the fennel. I do like fennel, so kind of looks like an onion. I said a quarter of an onion. It's actually fennel. And I think it's been glazed in some balsamic, so it should be pretty tasty here. I mean, this is something that's really hard to mess up. You can pretty much throw burrata on anything, and it's going to be good. I wish they did a little something to the tomato. I don't see a single lick of seasoning on the tomato. I don't think there's any salt, pepper, or olive oil, which I would have appreciated. I think they just put olive oil, salt, and pepper on top of the burrata. However, like I said, burrata on anything is going to be good. It's so creamy and cheesy. I absolutely love it. And this fennel here is very interesting. It added a little bit of a crunch. I want to try it on its own. That is quite tasty. The balsamic adds a little bit of like a sweetness, and we've got the olives here. I mean, does this taste good? Yeah, it's burrata. They're pretty much taking it out of a package. They're not doing anything special to it. The only thing special is that piece of fennel. So I wouldn't really ever get this, but It tastes fine. It's good. Ham's good. I'm sure it tastes better than the tacos, no offense. And I feel like you can kind of tell the lack of seasoning on this tomato just by looking at it here. And it also is not the ripest of tomatoes. Like for this price, I feel like they should be using an uber ripe tomato here. And it's just a little, like, what would you even consider this? Like, it's underripe, that's for sure. But it's like pink, it's not bright red. And I feel like for the price, it should just be a bright red, super ripe tomato, seasoned well, and that's not the case. And as I'm eating it more, I'm trying to cut this fennel. I like what they did with the fennel, how they seared it and coated it in balsamic. However, it's really hard to eat, and it's really hard to eat all together. It's not a cohesive dish. I feel like this would have been a little bit better if they maybe shaved the fennel, like fennel is typically served, shave it and then marinate it in balsamic that way. I feel like that would have been a little bit better, easier to eat with all of the other stuff. The fennel's good, but could be better. Well, I think we both weren't too impressed with the appetizer course of this meal here, but we still have our entrees to go, so we're holding out hope that that's a little bit better.
And dessert. Don't forget about dessert.
We're not going to forget about desserts. We will be ordering it.
And I did like my drink.
Promise had a good drink. Her margarita was better than my drink. For our entrees, Promise and I actually both decided to go with the steak frites again because you get the most value out of that meal. However, I also added on the flatbread onto my meal just so I could show you guys another new entree here. And with the steak frites, I did want to mention, if you wanted to upgrade to truffle fries from regular fries to truffle fries, it's an additional $5, which is kind of corny given this meal is $55. I don't know why you can't throw a truffle fry on there. So let's just start off with the Interstellar steak and frites. This is a New York strip steak served with hand-cut fries and a choice of peppercorn sauce or chimichurri. I decided to go with the peppercorn sauce, but Promise actually got the chimichurri sauce, so we'll be able to try both. And guys, I am so nervous to cut into this steak because Promise has already cut into hers and taken a couple bites here, and her Interstellar steak is certainly less than stellar. I could tell from the second she inserted the knife into the steak how much she was sawing back and forth that it was going to be dry and overcooked. And she ordered it medium. I believe it was actually, I wouldn't even say it was medium well. It was pretty well done. And I saw her choke on a couple pieces as well. She did need a little sip of water there to get it down. So let's start with the fries. I decided to go with the regular fries, and these are just the classic Disney French fry. Disney French fries are good. They have a little bit more salt than typical Disney quick service fries. However, we're at a meal that costs a little bit more. I wish they did something different with the fries and they didn't just have the freezer bag of fries that they serve at every quick service restaurant around Disney World. I really appreciated when I was at Epic Universe like last week, every single quick service restaurant has a different fry, a different cut, a different seasoning on the fry, whatever it may be. Every quick service restaurant has a different fry. And the fact that we're getting the quick service French fries that you get at every Disney restaurant, at a sit-down restaurant that costs $55 to eat at, is a little bit disappointing. Now, Promise did get the truffle fries, and I'm gonna sneak a couple fries here, and they are, again, the same fry. I believe just tossed in like truffle oil with a couple of herbs and Parmesan. Are they good? Yeah, but I wish they did a little something different. I don't know if it's worth a $5 upgrade either. $5 to upgrade to truffle fries, maybe like 2 or 3, but 5 is a little excessive for some truffle oil. Guys, I don't know. I ordered it medium rare. It's looking super thin, so it's gonna be hard to cook to a medium rare. We'll remove the leaves on top. And like, I don't know, this just doesn't look like an appetizing cut of beef here. Okay, my knife is sliding through a little bit better than Promise's, but I don't... This is medium. This is medium. This is a medium steak, so it's still doable, but it's certainly not medium rare. We'll continue cutting ourselves off a piece here. The knife is sliding through very nicely. We do have our peppercorn sauce on the side, but I want to try the steak just on its own first. I do think my steak has a little bit more seasoning than promises. Either that or the dressing from the little salad on top seeped in, because I did have a piece of that like lettuce, and that was actually good. It tasted like a honey vinaigrette on there. And I feel like that might have seeped onto the steak a little bit. You can just tell this is not a good quality piece of meat whatsoever. Like, this is really poor quality. At least it tastes like it. It's overcooked, and it doesn't have enough flavor despite that vinaigrette seeping into it. Like, it has a little bit of a chew to it, and I would have appreciated a little bit more charring on the outside. And when we get into this piece here, man, ooh, I can't even stick my fork through it barely. This piece is more overcooked than the center there, so I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed in this here. I have had better steaks at Chili's, at Outback Steakhouse, and I was thinking, like, this actually reminds me of a Golden Corral steak, because we used to go there during like softball tournaments when I was a kid, and this is kind of what that steak looks like to me personally. But let's try it with the peppercorn sauce. I just poured the peppercorn sauce all over my plate, but we'll dunk it in the what's remaining in the cup. The peppercorn sauce is delicious. A little peppery, a little creamy. You could taste that brandy in there. Delicious. Now, Promise just passed over her chimichurri, so we're gonna try the chimichurri as well. Was the chimichurri good?
I liked it.
Okay.
Save the steak.
Yes, saved it. For sure. That's really good chimichurri. I have had the filet here during dinner, and I can tell you the filet is really good. I think that is a delicious steak. So maybe don't come for lunch.
Or go to the lounge.
Yeah, or go to the lounge. Maybe just lunch is the issue here. I promise. Cut me a piece. She wants me to try her well done steak here.
Because I can't believe it. Like, I just was at Chili's and had a steak.
Yeah, your steak at that's what I'm saying. The steaks at Chili's are literally better than this. Look at how bone dry that is.
And I know when you say medium that they're gonna go maybe a little more medium well, but like it's
I'm
hard
still
to
chewing.
do. Yeah. I'm shaking the table when I'm cutting it.
Yeah. That's bad. But we're not done there. We still have one more thing to try. The brand new Titan Crater Flatbread. This has slow roasted strip loin, caramelized onion, arugula, tomato, parmesan, and truffle cream. And remember, you could get this as your entree, or you could add it onto your meal for $22. And I may not have had high hopes for the steak when it was placed on the table, but this flatbread, as soon as it was placed on the table, I was like, yeah, that looks very good. We've got like a whole salad on top of there, and it looks like the crust is nice and crisp. Okay, that is definitely the case. No flop on this one. That's what I like to see. I'm excited for this one. You know what this is? They took the same lettuce garnish that they put on top of the steak that's dressed in that honey lemony vinaigrette, and they put it on top of this pizza. And I like it. However, the flatbread, I expected it to kind of like crunch apart. It's chewy and kind of hard to break apart, but the outer layer there looks crisp. So we'll try from there now. There are a ton of different ingredients on this dish, yet I only taste one, and it is the salad with the dressing on top. I can't even taste the beef. I taste no truffle cream, and I thought the onions were supposed to be caramelized. However, they're raw red onions, unless I'm like missing something underneath. What's going on today?
They ran
This is so sad. Okay, I just picked up this piece, and maybe there's some caramelized onions over there, but it's really just like a thin layer of what tastes and looks like deli roast beef. The beef itself is, again, super overcooked even on this flatbread. I don't even know if they put the truffle cream on here. I expected like a drizzle of truffle cream on top, but not only do I not see it, I don't taste it at all.
just sad.
This is sad. We've just been
Especially for my
swinging
first
missing
visit.
the whole time. Yeah, I feel bad. This is Promise's first visit. She's not getting a great showing today. Well, I have been nursing this drink here, guys. It's very strong. It's so hard to drink. But now we're going to be on to desserts, and desserts aren't included with your lunch prefix meal of $55. You can add them on though if you'd like, and I think Promise and I are both deciding we've got to do it. And we decided to go with the Flight 220. This is a sampling of 3 different desserts on the menu: the Lunar Carrot Cake, the Tang Macaron, and the Strawberry Saturn for $18 total. And I don't know about you guys, but this is the first thing that has been brought to our table where Promise and I are both like, wow, that looks really, really good. And not to mention, this dessert here is only $18. I feel like this is a very good deal. We've literally got like 3 giant full-size desserts here for only $18. I mean, this is something that's perfect to get and like share with the rest of your party. And the carrot cake, I'm not remembering if it always, I think it used to look a little bit different. I'm not sure if they changed up the look of that carrot cake or what, but it looks really good. And the macaron in the center, it should be citrusy goodness, but I am most excited for the strawberry shortcake dessert. I love the outside of a strawberry shortcake ice cream bar, and you can see the crumbs under there. That is exactly what this is looking like. This should be good.
Like the Saturn is kind of reminding me of something that you're like supposed to pop.
A smash cake.
Yeah, like a little smash cake. It is so beautiful. Like I'm having a hard time ruining it, but let's see.
I'm curious to see what the inside of that is going to look like.
Oh.
Promise is destroying it.
Saturn is spinning. I don't know.
Oh my god, it really is. It's in rotation.
Oh.
It looks like cheesecake in there,
It's
no?
like cheesecake, gooey drizzle. Look at that.
Upon looking into this, it's actually vanilla mousse with a strawberry compote and strawberry crumbs. So no cheesecake, but I am most excited for those crumbs, so I gotta get a ton of them on with that mousse. It's a little dome cake-like, and the vanilla mousse is lacking vanilla flavor. It just tastes like plain mousse, if you ask me. However, those crumbs totally make it. Those crumbs give it all the flavor that it needs here. And with that strawberry compote, that should help too. It needs even more of that strawberry compote from the center because that's really what gives it all the flavor. But I would get it again just because those strawberry crumbs on the outside. I love the outside of a strawberry shortcake bar. All right, Promise, we'll go like a wishbone.
Okay.
Cut it in half.
Oh. That's okay, right?
Okay, I thought there was going to be a little gel. We actually did break that pretty evenly there.
good.
Wow, I'm impressed. But I think all the gel and the surprise on the inside is just that gel on the bottom. It's hard to find a good macaron here in Disney World, except they do have good ones over at Amorette's. And this one, I believe you can only get if you get this dessert trio. It's not on the actual menu, so this is a fun one. It was the best thing I ate so far today. I love a macaron. It's not overly orangey. It's delicious. And that compote on the bottom makes it even better. We still have one more dessert to go here on this little flight. Promise has already dug into it. Oh my gosh. And I think she's loving it. But we've got the carrot cake left here. It has some pistachios on the side, so I definitely want to get a couple of them on the fork or the spoon. Believe it or not, I actually think this carrot cake is my favorite thing on this flight. It's spiced perfectly, and at first I was like, is that buttercream on there? And I was like, no, that is cream cheese frosting, and carrot cake needs cream cheese frosting. It has a little bit of tang, and the crunchy pistachios are a great addition as well. I swear I've had this carrot cake before. It was presented differently, and it was not nearly as good as this. This is good. All right, let's head back to Earth. Promise, are you gonna crawl out and kiss the ground?
Yeah, we gotta kiss the ground.
You have to go to her page for that.
3, 2, 1. Your journey back to Epcot will be a smooth and quick one today.
Well, you win some, you lose some, and today we definitely lost. Our lunch at Space 220 was really not good, although we ended off on a good note with that dessert. Everything else that I tried today, I really, unfortunately, did not enjoy, which I am so sad about because that was Promise's first time here. And I'm like, no, we have to come back. We'll sit out the lounge or we'll come for dinner. I will say I probably won't come for lunch again just because I don't find much value in the $55 with the options. I'd much rather come, pay $79, get the filet, get a dessert with my meal, you know. That just seems a little more worth it to me, or just going to the lounge, like I said, and ordering a couple appetizers, a couple drinks. But yeah, today was just a massive letdown, and I know this isn't a reflection of the restaurant as a whole, because I have enjoyed some things there. I like the espresso martini a lot, I like the filet a lot, the beet salad, the cauliflower, all that stuff is really good. It's just the new things were really not impressive whatsoever. But the good news is they do update their menu quite frequently, I believe seasonally. So they update their menu about 4 times a year. So I am confident that next season's menu is gonna be a lot better than this one here. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have very strong thoughts about Space 220 yourself. A lot of you may really, really love this restaurant, and a lot of you might not think it's worth it. And like I said, it's an experience that everyone should have at least once when you come to Disney World. It's not a place that I would ever feel the need to go to regularly, but if you've never been, it's a very cool experience. And that's kind of the whole novelty of the restaurant. It is a cool experience. It is an immersive dining experience, and I definitely appreciate that aspect of it. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Also, massive thank you to everyone over on Patreon. I appreciate your support. As always, if you enjoy honest Disney food reviews, I am always gonna give them to you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!